I was just sent by one of you lovely subscribers the holy grail of vintage sewing patterns. Because not only is it plus size, not only is it from the 1940s, not only is it an evening gown, but be still my beating heart, it's right near my size.
Oh my God, what is that?
Because this amazing, delicious bust 48, I'm a 50 for reference, has literally never been used. And so today, I am going to be the very first person in 80 years and some change to use this pattern. And I am so excited I can't even friggin' I'm so excited. Also, thank you Rachel for sending me this. It's amazing. Okay, let's go to design phase. So now for this design, it's actually 2 garments that I'll be making today. First up is a slip pattern so that I can make another bust 48 pattern. And I will be doing it in this style, but I will be making this all the way down here. And the nice part is it does have princess seams, so I won't have to do any darts. And now for the glorious pattern here, I think I want to do version B here with these amazing little draped sleeve numbers. Because it's not that I don't enjoy this, I just feel like this would be bulky and odd looking. And then it's actually a belt that goes around the back and then fashions in the front. So not quite the vibe I want, However, one thing I do know is that this dress will not work well with this slip as is. So once I get the majority of this dress done, I will have to probably take down this slip into a much larger V to make sure that I can't actually see it. Now, when it comes to the fabrics, I will of course be using some of my vintage, one that is actively for sale on my website, and one that is from the estate sale that I set aside for just this reason. Well, not this reason, but I knew I would want to use it eventually, so this one's been hiding in my stash. So the first one is a pink polyester that has a very slight plisse finish on the top of it, but mainly it's not super see-through, which is the goal. And this one has a really nice drape, so I think this will do very well as a slip. And this is the one that I have for sale on my website if you would like it, because the color is, and I kid you not, pink pink. That's what they named it. Because today's video is sponsored by me. That's right, my website is how I am able to do all of this, because that's where I put all of my vintage patterns, fabrics, notions, and so much more available for you if you would like to take on a vintage sewing project. But maybe vintage isn't for you, and that's where my newest Chaos Sewist sticker comes in handy. I just designed this fully myself, absolutely 100%, no AI used. You're welcome, that's why it took so long. But good things take time, so I don't mind. But I will let you know about this particular version of the sticker. This is going to be a very limited release. The very first batch, this one right here, with a little bit of shading behind the Chaos Sewist, is actually an extremely limited run where I believe I have 69 left. You're welcome. No, I didn't plan that. And then there will be another batch of this exact same size, which is 4 inches tall by a little over 3 inches wide. That will be coming without the shading, and I think it's a little bit clearer for the Chaos Sewist. And that will be a limited edition of 200. And now let's go back to talking about the rest of the fabric. Now for the dress, I know for a fact that I'm making poor life choices here, because I wanted it in this pink, which is very lovely. This is a double layer, so single layer looks like that. It is very drapey, it's very airy, it's very sheer, because it is a poly chiffon. When I read the advised fabrics for this, it did say you could use a sheer. Great! Said you could use a heavy sheer. So I know for a fact I am not going to get the drape on the drawing itself, but even when I drape it like that, I still like how this looks. So I'm not super concerned about it. And this is the one that was in my stash, because it's purty and pink. And the nice part is that this is one of the fancier ones that's from Japan. And then it was time for the most important step in any vintage fabric or any other fabric user's life. Time to wash, 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 wash the fabric. Wash, wash, wash the fabric. Wash your fabric. And you see, since the cost of everything is rising, I am going to start falling back on some of the vintage methods, which in this case means I am going to be doing a tissue pattern fit for both of these patterns. Therefore, not wasting excess material and still getting to know exactly what modifications I need to make. And the slip was looking pretty good. And then it was time to cut out my pattern. And I did so by sandwiching tissue paper on the bottom, fabric, and then my pattern piece, ensuring that I added that extra 9 inches, which I actually ended up adding 12 just for the hem and realized that was way too long later on in the process. And then it was time to move on to the actual sewing, where I wanted to try some of the tricks that I had seen on ye olde interwebs about how to make sure that your slippery fabrics don't get eaten into your machine. First up was cleaning the machine and getting rid of that black thread. Then I found my lone 7010 needle that I had. Thank you, Mom, for keeping a random backstock of these things that I've clearly never used. Next up was the tape trick, where you take a very small piece of Scotch tape and put it over the entrance where your needle goes through and the bobbin thread comes up through. The idea behind this is that it's supposed to keep the thread from nesting on the other side when you do back stitches. This only partially worked. And then with my pink thread in place, my walking foot on, and everything supposedly ready to go, I gave it a test run. On a scrap piece of fabric. Yes, that's right. What are we doing on this channel? Not in chaos, just for this one time. You're welcome. Hello? I was supposed to cut that thread. Now I gotta fix my tape. Does it tear out of here? Oh! Actually, yeah. And yes, one time my tracing paper did run out before the end of the seam, and you can definitely tell the difference. But then because I don't trust this fabric as far as I can throw it, it was indeed time to do those French seams. And yes, to those of you in my comments who are concerned that you never see my iron, I do actually iron things, I just don't usually show it. But here you go. And with the front pieces and the back pieces Frenched on together, but the sides only pinned, it was time to give it a quick try on. Dear viewer, what you are seeing now is the case of the curious chaos sewist as she sits and ponders exactly how she's going to install a zipper into this slip, because that is in fact what this pattern calls for. Look at the smoothing and adjusting of the slip as she distinctly tries to wrap what little gray cell function at midnight there is around this problem. She should probably go to bed.
The next day.
Good morning. We're just gonna do this real quick. I only got the front and the back just seamed together. Yes, it does vaguely fit. We are very thankful for that. However, I am in lip gloss and under eye mode and just wearing a dress, not styling it, so that should tell you where we're at today. Because I have to figure out how to put a placket into a French seam, so I guess I should go do that instead of procrastinating. Okay, bye. And by bye, I mean let's go. That's for a skirt, that's for belting, that's for a skirt. Dress. Maybe this will tell me what I'm doing. Okay, so I do have to slice it first. That's nerve-wracking. I've got really great news. I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna keep going. We're gonna start with the French seam on the far side that doesn't have the zipper first, because that feels safer. Yeah. I genuinely don't know how to do all this. I hope you know this. I'm not faking this. I literally learn in these videos how to do this. And then I forget in between, which is really great. I love being 40, it rocks. So I got started by pinning the two wrong sides together and sewing those down, because I know I want to do French seams on this entire slip. And the entire time I'm sewing, I'm navigating in my skull exactly how I can get away with not installing a zipper in this slip. Hey there, me here, just reporting. I just tried this on in the bathroom with no dress over top to like add friction. I'm not gonna do a placket because it does actually fit even when I pinch it in to the point where I'm gonna sew it about to. Yeah, so no, we're not gonna do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and trim this, iron this French cement, and then call this piece vaguely close enough to being done. Cause I don't like plackets. I like zippers that are set in the center cause I'm lazy, but this would not work. Now, I know this calls for trim right up at the top of there. And I have a whole bunch of lovely vintage trim right here. Even some that's pink. I got some pink stuff too. I don't want any trim because I one time found an original early 40s slip very similar to this, obviously made out of like way nicer material, but it didn't have any trim and it was so sleek and smooth and pretty. And also it's gonna be shown through the dress and I don't want any type of like trim ruffling hitting that and making weird foibles. Let's save the sewing for those foibles. I'm gonna skip this and what I'm going to do is run a bit of stitching at the stitching line, and then I will turn it and hand sew it probably on the plane. Oh, I'm also gonna do that for the bottom too. To hem it, I'm just gonna stitch a row of thread, there's the word, and then cut it really short and double turn it. So I think I'm going to call this good enough for the moment after I run those stitches, and then we can get started on the gown. Oh, I almost forgot the straps. That's better. Okay. These are now made. I haven't turned them because I fray checked them and they're still a little damp. So we're just gonna set these aside to dry while we get to move on to the fun part slash nerve-wracking part because I've, listen, I've unfactory folded a lot of patterns in my days. Some accidentally at the beginning of my career when I didn't know what this meant. In case you're new here, this means that this has never been used. This glorious packet that looks super shiny smacky magoo, really nice and thin. Yeah, this has only ever been put through the factory and that's it. To use it, you have to undo that. And there's a part of me that is crying inside because I know how rare these are, but I also know that they were made to be used. So let's make 1,000 resellers weep. And shed a tear for myself too, because, you know, that's just what we do. Because I do actually resell patterns. That's what I do, just with a lot of care. Oh, we're gonna move the fray check and the coffee. Now, here we go. Pull it on apart. The potential is unleashed. Ah, don't lose a piece first thing, Canada. God, I love vintage patterns. I love them so much. I don't have to cut out I don't gotta cut out jack. So now the important part is I have to figure out what pieces I'm looking for so that I can pin them together. Because I'm gonna do view B, which means I need 1, 2, 3. No, lies. I don't need that. Negative. I need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's what I need. So here, starting out strong, number 5. The fact that no one has ever used this just makes my heart weep. It's such a pretty gown. I'm gonna make it. That's 1. I do not need you. Here is 7. I do need you. 2 and 4 don't need you. Here is 6, which means, honestly, if I'm being real with you, it's like these 3 pieces that I'm worried about the most. And then whatever modification I make to these, I will transfer to the skirt. Because the skirt is a lot harder to pin fit test. Ooh, but this might have thin hips. Uh-oh. 54. Hang on, where's my tape measure thingy? I don't know what my hips are. I don't usually measure those. Yes, I know I'm going over clothes and I shouldn't be doing that. What are my hips right now? I don't know. Oh, 52. That's awesome. I'm not gonna worry about that then. I will double check this though, because I don't honestly know. Okay, so this is 50. Great, so this is 2 inches bigger. Oh, I just had lunch. Okay, well, I think I'm fine on the waist, honestly, because my waist is a 44 after a very large lunch, which means that the only one that I have to adjust is this. And it shouldn't be that hard because it's only 2 inches. Oh my God, I'm so happy. So pen test time, and yes, I am just gonna do the bodice. The first step to a good pen test is ironing the pattern piece flat. The next step is laying them flat on a table so that you can pin them together. However, before I can do any pinning, I do have to remind myself what the seam allowances actually are. And hidden in this packet of goodness, this amazing instructional packet that honestly is so fragile if I sneeze on it wrong it'll rip into 8 pieces, were the most delicious instructions I'd ever read. Or so I thought. Now, wait one just gosh darn minute here. Are you telling me that this glorious pattern not only has 3/8 inch seams, which is fine and dandy, you're telling me that on the key portion that I need to upgrade 2 inches, you're telling me that you put in a 3/4 inch seam allowance into your pattern just from the get-go, and that the dots that I see on the underarm are where you should baste it if you want the 3/4 seam extra to be. You did the work for me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything.
I don't have to do anything.
Don't be ridiculous.
But you're telling me I should be able to just pin this?
No,
Oh my God, if this is true,
not this time.
I might lose my ever-loving mind because that would be so amazing.
Not a chance.
Modern sewing patterns could never.
Wrong.
Oh, I'm so excited. And so with a dream in my heart and a sparkle in my eye, I began to pin my mock-up together. Not realizing that I am actually Wile E. Coyote and the light at the end of the tunnel is actually a train and not just the painting from the Roadrunner. And with that vaguely accomplished, let's go over and see how it actually looks. Okay, quick costume change. Welcome to my slip that I really don't wear. And the only reason I'm doing this is because y'all are watching. You carefully put your arm through where it goes. And you do have to be very, very delicate with this, just to be very clear. Like, I am so gingerly nudging these things while going, why is this not? Come on, bro. Okay. Well, that's the first problem. I think this is a little short for me, personally. But like, why? I guess is the real question. Like, is this the right size? What's happening here? Sorry, this is not computing. This is a size 48. I might actually have to do a real mock-up because I don't understand why it's like refusing to go under my arm and why this is cutting through the middle of my boob. Upside, this should hopefully be relatively simple. Relatively simple.
Relatively simple.
But like, this is supposed to be a bust 48. This shouldn't be this off. I'm not trying on a bust 38. Unless they put the wrong size in the envelope. Dear sweet Moses. Okay. I think, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go cut this out of some fabric that I don't care about, which is a bummer because I was trying not to waste fabric, but this isn't correct, and I don't know what's happening. So, BRB with a fabric version half put together. Listen, I sewed it on the wrong side. Here we are. I don't know what's happening here, but like, did I get a bust 48? Because I don't think I did. And listen, I understand these are made for a smaller cup size, but a bust 48? A 48. This whole panel here, basically from here, I need to take like a slice and just go to get it to sit where they want it, right? Did I get a bust 38, not a 48? I'm so confused. This is supposed to be my size. I mean, I know I didn't because the waist measures correctly. When you put this where they want it, it does fit me side to side. So like, it's this length versus whatever length this has. Cause like, this is the center. You know what? Hang on. We're just gonna do this way.
A few moments later.
So we know this doesn't work. I'm gonna cut you here if I want this here, right, which I do, this needs to be... You cannot tell me that their tits were up here. I refuse to believe that. This is painful. Like, even with my best bra, like, this is like boobs for at your shoulder. That's not like, my boob is basically right where it's supposed to be, middle of the arm. And don't come at me with period undergarments. I understand that it would have changed a little. It's not gonna change 6 inches or whatever the heck this is. I would need to add 5 inches to the middle. And I probably need to do something similar to the back. This was supposed to be easier than this. It was supposed to fit better than this. I knew adjustments were gonna be made, but 5 inches in the bust for, I'm supposed to be 2 inches different? No, that's annoying.
A few moments later.
Don't come for me for how I added this in. We're just seeing if this even does anything. Okay, so 5 inches even. The sleeve gets to be a little crazy, so the sleeve should come up more, like a 1 inch, so it should taper from like probably 6. I don't think I'm even, oh, I gotta fix the back still too. So if I fix the back so it sits where it's supposed to, how does this look? A little crooky. What happens if I put it where it's supposed to go? It has weird pulling still. This is not the vibe we're going for. So this is really tight. So this is probably also a problem. We're just gonna go ahead and fix that right now. Should not have to make this many adjustments. This is insane. Why aren't you doing this? Because the whole thing has to come down. So if the whole thing comes down, it's still not sitting right. It's supposed to sit there, I think. How far do I have to open this up? You'll have to tell me, I don't know. Oh boy. This just became a way bigger problem and project. Do I just wear the slip as a dress? Cause I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. This is a dress pattern I've always wanted to make. I wanted this to work easily the first time out the go. I knew small changes were going to have to be made. I am mad because of the amount of changes that have to be made. How is this supposed to sit? No, I really think I might have gotten the wrong size inside this envelope because, like, see how nice that is? See how nice mine isn't? So this is supposed to sit here and go to just below the apex. So it's supposed to be there. That's how this is supposed to look. And like, why is this sliding off of my shoulder? Well, that's how your battery dies. You ever have one of those moments where you just get so frustrated that you're just like, no, this outfit is bothering me, so I'm gonna change and that's gonna make it better. That's what I had. Anyway, I hacked at it a little more after the battery died. This is what I ended up with. There's a couple things happening here. Number one, I think I pinned this too high. I think this still needs to go down a little. Both of these do. So I think this actually needs to be like 6 inches here at the front. And then actually on the underarm, I think it's fine. So 6 to 5 graded fine. I then had to do like I had to adjust the bust down a little because it was like falling over here and looked really awful. So I hacked this twice because I can't find the apex on the first go around and pulled both of these over. So see that's how I want it to lay, right there. It's pulling still at the shoulder and pulling down, so it tells me something is still too tight under here. However, I don't know how much of that is in this moment versus how much of this is going to be fixed when I put a skirt and the other half of this on here. Now, am I going to potentially make a poor life choice and just go off of the cloth? No. I just thought through that. So I will actually transfer the bodices to paper and then hack at them and then keep them that way. Because then if that works and I like it, if I don't make the changes on paper, I won't have it for next time. So I'm actually gonna do it the right way. Even though that takes more time, which I don't have. Let's go ahead and transfer this to paper and then see what I can do with this. Because that was wild. I feel like I was adjusting a bust 38. Or a bust 42. I don't know. This pattern, you cannot convince me. I'm so sorry. You can't convince me that even if I had a C cup, which is like smooshing this down here, you cannot convince me that the shoulder to below bust would have been correct for a bust 48. I really think that they just graded this up and moved on. Didn't check it, didn't have any plus size person actually look at this, Butterick. I think that's what happens. We see it in modern patterns too. Adjusting your pattern to fit your body is normal. Adjusting your pattern this much for something that should have been a 2-inch fix is not normal. So there's that. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go transfer this to paper now. So I first had to start out by tracing the pattern tissue as it was. Then once I cut that out, it was time to add in my pieces. I did this based off the measurements that I'd taken earlier, so I added 5 inches in a straight across the back, and I did a 5-inch at the center and graded it down actually to about 2 inches at the shoulder because of that extra fold that I had put in at the bust area. Is this how you should do this? No. This was called time crunching and moving too quickly. Well, good morning from Dolly over here and an almost defeated sewist last night. Let me tell you that when I tissue fit that pattern pieces for the skirt, I almost lost it. Yeah, I really did. Because I was like, what do you mean? It's more than 1 inch too small. What do you mean? I love vintage patterns. I love vintage patterns. I'm just going to keep reminding myself of this because right now I don't believe it. I don't have time to worry about an existential crisis right now because I have to get on a plane tomorrow at the crack of dawn to go to New York City. So I need this to vaguely be together enough to hand sew the rest of it. So here's a non-complete list of everything that I have to do because that's my life. I have to put the front skirt entirely together because I did get the back skirt completely sewn together last night with delicious French seams. Here, see, look at that French seam. Don't look too close, it's fine. So I have the back definitely done and hanging for one of the 3 days it asked for. Love that. And then I have to go into bodice town because the main thing is to get the bodice attached to the skirt in the most roughest of senses because I'm going to do the side seam like very much last because that's going to be my last foray into, hey, look, I can adjust this thing to see if I can get it to fit. So we're going to put basically the entire front of the thing together, the entire back of the thing together, so the shoulders together, and then start pinning along the side and see where the adjustments need to be. Or if I have to scrap this entirely and somehow figure out how to make a slip an Easter dress, yeah, we might bail to the blue dress. Remember this one from Frock Tales? That might be my actual oopsie poopsie lemon schmoopsie. I flirted too close to the sun and assumed this would be easy project. I don't want to do that though. I'm going to stop yapping because I have a lot of sewing to do. So I started in with sewing the skirt front together. And I will say using this tracing paper to stabilize this while sewing was, I think, the best trick that I have ever used when sewing slippery fabric. Bonus points for satisfying noises as you tear it away too. Very satisfying. And then I was back to my French seaming shenanigans where I cut down the excess, ironed it, and then went back to sew it all together. All right, I am now done eating lunch after taking the break after that skirt. Now my goal is to just basically run all the gathering stitches in this bodice, and then I'm gonna just kind of like guesstimate her together and pin it all together, because if I need to pivot to completely transitioning that dress, aka slip, I need to know that sooner rather than later because it is, honest to God, almost 1 o'clock. So there's no time like right now. However, I realized that I had not actually transferred over all of my markings, so I had to do that first. And once I took out all the pins, I popped it onto my machine to run the gathering threads. Okay, so the things that I did that I changed from the pattern, I could only fit 3 rows of gathers in here for the shirring. The 4th row was acting really squirrely, so I just said 1, 2, 3. This is all the same. I'm gonna slash this here. And the nice thing about doing this on a wider stitch setting is that, look, it just gathered it for me. We love a good shortcut. Also, you're welcome. The water bottle has been the microphone the entire time. But now it's time to go and pin this all together-ish and see what fresh, exciting news awaits me. Did the adjustments work? I don't know. Do I have more clean fabric? No. So we're gonna go find out together. The always exciting game of don't cut the gathering threads because then you won't be able to do anything. Me. And with the shirring all temporarily gathered down, it was time to start truly pinning in earnest everything together. Yes, I did make an accidental separate waist piece. It's fine. Here we go. This is not the slip I'm wearing with it. There's the camera. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, the sides aren't together. It's fine. Oh! Did I frickin' pull this off? Listen, it's still got some issues, but did I seriously pull this off? I mean, the waist is a little low, but you know what? I also don't think, I think these pins up here are not doing their job. Like this actually, okay, this could slap. Oh, crap. It's not as gathered here because I had to release the gathers because I didn't think it would fit. And I think I was right to do that because it will still be quite tight because I do have all the undergarments on under here. The correct one this time, yesterday's was wrong. So maybe that also wasn't helping me. But like, she's a flouncy little Easter cupcake vibe. This is huge. But that's the pat. I did not, this piece I did not adjust. Absolutely. I look, this one, yes. Back, yes. This thing is just the way it's designed. Wow, okay. We are rejuvenated. I feel like this is cute. Now I just gotta sew it all. It's fun, because you can't wear pins. That's not a vibe. Crap, this is actually gonna work. But like, hooray that it's gonna work. And now, we sew. And if locked in was ever one single shot, this would be that shot because I was just going, sewing as many seams as I possibly could, as quick as I possibly could, because my 7 a.m. flight was coming far sooner than I would like to admit. But honestly, I think let's go ahead and go into montage mode so that I can focus on the sewing and hopefully get this done by the time that I need to leave in like 16 hours. I don't know why I do this to myself. Why? Why do I do this? Every time. Every time. I had a plan. It was a great plan. And then I forgot about the plan and I planned too hard on the plan and now here we are and I am stress sewing. Ooh. I made the left back and the right front. I don't know. Some days, I don't know, man. And listen, while we're in this montage mode of watching me pin together the bodice pieces so I can sew them on the machine, I want to take a moment to thank all of my members and my patrons that help me run this channel. Because yes, you can become a member, and yes, you do get to actively contribute to these videos, whether it be in polls or you get to see preview photos before anyone else. So if you would like to join us in our little chaos community, make sure you click the join button down below here on YouTube, or you can scoot over to Patreon and join us over there. And with the many thanks thusly been given, I have done the world's worst rolled hem on my sewing machine. But you know what? It's fine, because now I'm going to attach the shoulders and then start with the difficult task of putting the bodice pieces to the bodice fitted waist, which is not something I'm good at, making that nice crisp point red at the top. But you know what? We're going to give it a go. To be very clear, I know for a fact the way I'm pinning it and I'm about to sew it, where you sew it on the backside and then top stitch on top, is not the way they want to do this. However, I also know this fabric is very fray prone, so I'm just gonna go with it. That's what I'm gonna do. If you want to try it that way, you can, but the real vintage way would be to just top stitch it, but that ain't for me. And yes, I did have to redo the waist at least 3 times before I sewed it down. Thank you so much for asking. Got great news, I forgot to do the rest of the slip. My shoulders don't like slips. In case you couldn't tell, no matter what, they slide off because my shoulders are sloped. That is what it is. Okay, but that feels better. We're about to see how deep I'm gonna have to cut this, because I don't know. Oh, it's more of a coral pink versus a, okay. It's still going with. It's still gonna have weird stuff happening, I can tell. But there's only so much I can do. Okay, so when it sits here, I need, actually this slip is not bad, but I need the slip to come down to like there. That's where I need the slip to start. Okay, this was clearly a fool's errand. Go with gravity, go with gravity. Nope, that's the slip. I'm pinching out like an inch on either side. There is so much going on with this garment that I don't enjoy right now. And why is that so billowy? Is that supposed to be billowy in the back? Like, what the noise is happening back there? I would have to take this hoe to my waistline. Okay, the back's just gonna stay with the back. That's just gonna be a feature. I will iron this also, it doesn't look this fluffy. I will be installing fucking garment straps for the sleeves so they don't fall off. So many things to do. What time? Unknown. I'm gonna go do up one entire side. I don't know. So 3/8 inch all the way down. That's what I'm going with because that's what I have time for. The dress only has the sides, the hem, and the zipper to go. And in proper race to the finish mode, I accomplished all of the following tasks before I left. Sewing all the sides together, installing bias tape and half of a zipper, top stitching down my very large mistake on the back of the dress, and finishing the inside seams, which meant that exactly 9 hours before I was supposed to take off from Orlando, I finally called it a night and packed everything into my suitcase to head to New York. Video. There, I found him, look, there he is.
Hi!
Cute. Oh. Voiceover Stephanie in the outtakes, this never happens. But yes, indeed, folks, I did absolutely use my smallest carry-on level scissors to hand cut my hem, and then I hand stitched all 6 panels, which took me hours to do the night before the event. All dressed up and nowhere to go with my giant tall socks on. Doesn't belong on my bloody machine, but here we are.